Hi Lisa, how often would you say you are moving from stillness versus mind identification? Do you catch yourself in identification and then choose to come back to stillness? So how often would you... I think I really don't look at it like that anymore. Like, how often do I move from mind identification to stillness? What I was speaking about before is that we need our mind to do certain things, like book a flight or plan moving house or something. So we need mind activity. But I was trying to say, when I speak about non-duality, I'm not doing it through the way that I would do booking a flight. I'm just spontaneously speaking, a bit like when you play an instrument, and at first when you play the instrument you have to remember how to play it. And then at some point you stop playing it, and then the playing is happening and there's nobody playing it. But it doesn't mean that when you had to remember how to play it, it doesn't mean that that's necessarily identification. It's just that you had to think about how to play it. So that's the difference I was talking about before. And then I was also talking about as well when you live in the seeking realm, so you're constantly in a story of yourself, and then you go from the story of yourself, the seeking realm, to stillness, which is, so they're kind of like three things there. And with the seeking realm and the stillness, I feel like there is still old seeking patterns that arise here in Lisa, but they get really small, so I can't really tell when they're like habits and conditions, like a natural thing that a body releases and expands, and when they're seeking. And I just I don't really look at it like that anymore, so I don't really have that sensation of losing something and getting something, of being in presence and then going to a mind identity. I don't really feel like that anymore. But I think there's still seeking patterns here. If I look at it logically, it's like sometimes some of the things that come up must be some old seeking patterns. Do you catch yourself in identification? And then, yes, I don't really catch myself in identification and then choose to come back to something. It's more like a strong emotion comes up, and then I can see how there may be like old seeking patterns in it, but only more in retrospect. In the moment, it doesn't really feel like I'm going into seeking, but it most probably was, but just really, really subtle. But it's very unnoticeable. Like before, it was like you had a boulder in your shoe and you could notice it, whereas now it maybe is like a little piece of sand, so I can't really feel it or notice it. But logically it makes sense that some of the things that I act out sometimes are from old seeking patterns.